that cable car.
Nice work, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant.
I guess that winds up the Levinson case.
Push the seat back a little, will you? It's a lot better.
If I were you, Commissioner, I'd spend the evening in a hot tub.
A good idea if I can talk 6 people into climbing in with me. Gotta make a seance.
You're going to a seance tonight, sir?
Afraid so.
Well, don't be afraid. I've been. They're a little spooky, sure, but it's worth it considering the information you pick up.
Information you pick up?
Yeah. What's the name of your seer, sir?
Not my seer, it's the seer of a friend. A very dear friend has just been told her husband is coming back from the dead.
From the dead? That's quite a trick.
Yeah. That's why I want to be there.
We are here among the dead, waiting for you who are out there in the great beyond to communicate with us. We ask that you make your presence known. Ours is a distinguished group here tonight. Commissioner of Police Stuart McMillan and his lovely wife. Magician Harry Hastings, known professionally as the Great Mandini, who last week here at this table heard the spirit of Arthur Kendall speak to us. The gracious and beautiful Nora Dane. And most important of all, Arthur asked that his beloved wife Evie be here with us, and she is. Evie Kendall is here and waiting, accompanied by her doctor, Eli Spake. Join hands, please.
Well, old Gabriel's apparently putting in an appearance tonight. Now, that's her best trick. From here on, it's usually downhill.
I feel the presence of Arthur Kendall. Arthur is trying to get through. Arthur, we know you are here. We ask you to join us in our circle of love.
Evie. Evie! Evie! Oh, Evie. Oh, Evie. Why? Why did you kill me? Why did you murder me?
Evie, now listen to me. Listen to me, Evie. It's all right. Now, come on, I'll take you home.
Sally, come with me, please.
Are you coming, Nora?
No, I'd just be in the way, but please tell her again how awful I feel. God, to lose your husband's bad enough, but to have him called from the dead. I should know. Mine called from Hong Kong last night to tell me that the alimony'd be late again.
Oh, well, at least it was a friendly call. Nora, will you tell Mac that I went with Evie?
Madam Zara, would you mind telling me how this trick was done?
I most certainly would mind. Do you think I shake like this after a trick? A cheap trick. It's true. I do sometimes resort to tricks. I can command this trumpet to float in midair. But, Commissioner, what you have just seen was a true visitation.
Sally wanted you to know she went with Evie.
Okay, thanks, Nora.
Admit, I wonder why I was chosen myself. Why he picked me for one of the great psychic experiences. Obviously, there is a purity about me that even I hadn't recognized. But I was ready. And what you saw was a true miracle from the grave, an anguished soul pointing an accusing finger at the person who murdered him. I think I'm going to give up the trumpet.
Yes, ma'am. Harry.
I don't know, Mac. I don't know how she did it. I've checked every wall and every baseboard, and I don't know. I know she's a first-class fraud, but last week I heard him, and tonight I saw him.
How dare you, Harry Hastings? I have seen many of your tricks, but I have always remained polite. And now tonight, you see a true visitation, and you can't even be gracious about it. You are riddled with jealousy. But I take that as a supreme compliment.
Then I trust you'll take it as a supreme compliment if I call the bunco squad to go over this room.
I am deeply honored.
I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him.
Of course you didn't, Evie. We all know that.
And why did he say it? Why?
We don't know that it was Arthur.
Mac doesn't believe in ghosts. I don't either.
Look, she really should be resting now.
No.
Evie, you're going to take a sedative. You've got to rest.
No, not yet. I want to tell Mac and Sally everything.
That can wait till tomorrow.
No, now. Mac, you and Sally remember this little item? A memento of my suicide attempt 2 years ago.
I don't think that now is the time to discuss it. Eli's right. Let's wait till tomorrow. Good night's sleep.
I'm not discussing suicide. I'm talking about this razor. After I tried to use it, Arthur hid it. I never knew where.
That's right. Then, maybe a month ago.
I'm telling this, Eli. A month ago today, I found it lying open on my dressing room table. And only a week later, I opened a closet door and found a suit of Arthur's clothes hanging there, caked with blood.
Darling, must you?
Yes, I must. And yesterday, an oil portrait of Arthur that had been put away in storage. Come with me, please. It suddenly reappeared, there on the wall. When the maid saw it, she quit. I stood here staring up at it and remembered the day that I tried to quit. That was the worst fight that Arthur and I ever had. The very next night, he called from our cabin in the mountains and asked me to join him there. But I didn't. No, I didn't. I wasn't the one that fired that gun. I never went.
Evie, you were proven innocent.
Yes. Yes, you did that for me.
No, a jury did. Evie, you've been through more than enough for one night. Now, please, take a sedative now.
No. No.
Evie, what is it?
Smells like tobacco smoke.
It was my last birthday present to him. Why is this happening? Why?
That's why we're here, Evie. Find out why.
And Mac will, Evie.
It's Arthur. It's Arthur. Find him, please. He's got to be here. He is here. I can feel his presence. He's in this room right now. Show yourself, Arthur. Show yourself, Arthur.
Ghost giving me the willies. My grandmother used to live in a haunted house. I was a little girl at the time.
Your grandmother used to live in a haunted house?
Mm-hmm, was all she could afford.
Did you ever see any ghosts?
Oh, sure, I saw them. But I never heard one talk like you two did last night. Arthur Kendall talked, wow.
He talked.
Somebody talked.
But what did he sound like with his head shot off?
She's got a point there, you know that?
I mean, that poor man up there in the mountains trying to get a little rest. He opens the door and there stands somebody with a shotgun. What do I mean, somebody? If he said his wife killed him, she did. And that's why his poor ghost is earthbound. No one will believe him.
Mildred, Evie did not kill him.
Oh, I know she's one of your closest friends, Mrs. McMillan. But if Arthur said she did it, she did it. Oh, would you like a little coffee?
Thank you.
Oh, how did I get some fresh?
Mac, what if Evie starts thinking like Mildred does? She'll become convinced that she did kill him, and it'll drive her insane. You can't let that happen, Mac. She's counting on you.
I know. The problem is trying to figure out what our friend the ghost is counting on.
We covered every square inch of that seance room, sir. Nothing. Marnie Ellsworth couldn't have been more cooperative.
She's been waiting all her life to be investigated by a bunco squad.
Yeah, well, I also had them check into her past. Always a lot of hocus pocus, but always within the law.
What's that odor?
Oh, oil of cloves, sir. I got a molar that's killing me. Nice smell, huh?
Very nice. There it is.
boy. When Harry Hastings says a man's home is his castle, he isn't kidding.
Hello in there.
Well, now what do we do?
We say open sesame. You see?
Mac, I'm on lower level 2.
I'll go first, Sergeant.
It's wet.
Hello, Mac.
Sergeant Enright, this is the great Mandini.
Sergeant? Well, we're getting the hands in shape, putting together our new show.
Didn't know you gave him any more, Harry.
Well, except on special occasions, I don't. Like the circus, the day of magic, the day of the magician is almost over. Night of the wizard, twilight of the gods, you might say. However, I'm booked into one last grand tour. We're opening tonight at the Club Castile. Toothache, Sergeant?
No, I mean, I'm just a little on edge.
Feel better?
It's gone.
Temporary relief. In a few hours, it'll wear off, so I advise you to check with your dentist. Otherwise, I'm in trouble with the ADA. Here, Sergeant, let me show you another. Take a card.
Harry, Enright and I are here to talk about last night.
Mac, what if I were to tell you... What if I were to tell you that I didn't think it was a trick?
Oh, come on, Harry. You don't believe in ghosts any more than I do. You've exposed every case we ever handed you. He's caught more frauds than any man I know. Given expert testimony in court, time and time again. All negative, Harry. No such thing as ghosts. Don't tell me now, after all this, that you're suddenly going to start believing in them.
I know what I saw. Nobody could be more shaken than I.
You can't honestly believe that Arthur Kendall came back from the dead and talked to us.
Mac, please try to understand what all this means to me. I mean, the search to find the supernatural has been the quest of every great magician, and for obvious reason. With all our illusions, tricks, devices, we still secretly want to believe that such a thing does exist, called the true magic, that extra step into the unknown. And last night, after all these years, I witnessed it. I heard it. I saw it. My body, I felt cold, clammy. Because I knew that here it is. The dead can return. And no wizard of legerdemain, myself included, could ever create an illusions so real as the ghost of Arthur Kendall.
The medium sat here, Nora Dane here, and the magician here. Evie Kendall here and Dr. Spake here. Sally and I sat over here. Arthur Kendall appeared about here from my sightline.
We checked, sir, and there was no evidence of projection equipment or mirrors to create the image.
That means the image was created by the presence of a real person.
In the flesh, sir.
These drapes concealed the door through which he obviously came.
But, sir, that door was locked.
It was locked when I tried it. Doesn't mean it was locked when he tried.
Well, Commissioner, conducting your own private seance, I see.
No, just consulting the future, Chapman. Trying to see if the district attorney is ever going to win a case.
That's good, Mac. Very good. Now look into the past and see if you should have won the case of Evie Kendall.
Why? You thinking of putting a ghost up on the witness stand?
I'm dreaming about it. Especially about the part where he testifies to the fact that she killed him.
What's your angle?
Justice isn't an angle, Commissioner.
Why don't you turn that into a bumper sticker? You know that Evie Kendall was acquitted of that murder. And even if she walked into this room right now and confessed, the laws of double jeopardy would prevent you or anyone else from taking legal recourse. So, what's your angle?
Well, let's see. She testified that she took sleeping pills that night. But did she? She could have driven up to that mountain cabin, killed him, and who would have known? If I can prove she lied about that alibi, we've got her on perjury, 1 to 14 years.
Look, Chapman. Evie Kendall is in a very delicate and dangerous state of mind. This is not the time to force her to relive that case with a lot of hard questions.
You and your wife are just too close to her, Max. She could have done it, you know, and a thing like murder shouldn't be allowed to just lie there.
No, it shouldn't, and it should have been solved by now.
It could have been solved by now. Tell me, Mac, what bothers you more? That you saw a ghost? Or that you let a murderess get off scot-free?
How about my specialty?
No, just rub my neck. Did you ever have the feeling you were being used, Sally?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's the way I feel. Hello?
Commissioner, I found a report that a lawyer now dead was called upon to draw up a contract of some kind between Arthur Kendall and Harry Hastings.
What kind of a contract?
Well, the deal was never made, sir, so we don't know.
But Harry Hastings does.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pandora's box. Contrary to legend, Pandora never opened the box, never discovered the contents. Its hideous creatures were never set loose over the countryside. It was taboo, forbidden. And for that reason, in 1704, this lock was placed on it. Through all the long years and the many centuries since then, Pandora's box has remained
Nora, I
closed.
wish Joe would come back.
Shut.
They're divorced. My little romantic, you do know what that means.
I don't want to discuss it.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a rare and eerie experience. Tonight, this night, for the first time in history, Pandora's box is to be opened.
Scare you?
Great looking. I think Pandora's gonna jump out.
And land in your lap. You're the one who ordered ringside.
I love it. Mac, he's terrifying those women. I'm not easily frightened, but if I were, well, it'd be enough to drive you batty. You do think it's a little scary, don't you, Mac?
Do you suppose that was the deal?
What?
The deal between Arthur and Harry. To drive Evie out of her mind.
Horrible.
Come in.
Great show, old great Mandini.
Absolutely terrifying. You want to see my goosebumps?
Sally, no.
I could show you a few of my own.
You mean you scare yourself?
Only on opening night.
That Pandora's Box illusion's quite a horror show, Harry.
I hope so.
You always end your act with a number that leaves them screaming?
That's my trade, Mac. It's part of it anyway.
It could scare the wits out of anybody.
I didn't make that deal with Arthur Kendall, Mac. In fact, when he asked me to drop by that afternoon, I assumed that he and Evie were both there, and it was just for a visit.
Don't you believe me, Mac?
Of course I believe you.
Still think I've met him, don't you, Mac?
Did I say that? I don't believe I did.
I didn't say you said it. I said you're thinking it. I know your mind.
My mind is thinking maybe roast beef, wild rice, and perhaps a good salad.
You mean you really believe me?
Of course I do.
How could you possibly believe me?
If the situation were reversed, wouldn't you believe me? If a strange woman wrote a composition and named it after me and sent me flowers and invited us to dinner and I said I didn't know her and never met her, well, what would you think?
You know exactly what I'd think. No wonder I'm riddled with guilt. Completely innocent and riddled with guilt. Listen, Mac. Do you suppose that's blues for Sally Ann?
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize you've been ringing the buzzer through what might be my song?
Well, that's because we're here for dinner, and I'm hungry. Sims! Sims? Sims! Call an ambulance, Sally.
Operator, get an ambulance to 604 North Lombard, apartment 1203.
How is he?
He's unconscious, but his pulse is regular.
Sally?
In here, Mac. Mac, look at this. Why would he keep it?
Was the scrapbook open?
Just like this.
Maybe that's what he was reading when he was attacked.
But I've never known anybody to keep a scrapbook of bad reviews.
Peter Warlock. Isn't he the critic you read to every Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. He certainly never had a kind word for Buzz Sims.
Wonder why a good musician would keep such bad reviews.
What's that funny look on your face?
And it's signed, affectionately, Sally Ann. believe you.
RD1, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll send the number over to the DMV. We should have a report in the morning.
Let's find out about the people close to Sims.
Sir,
He's got a girlfriend who calls herself a Baroness. Baroness von Hugo from Milwaukee.
Anyone else?
Well, there's his manager, Joe Layton.
Who?
The doctor says there's no need to cancel. We can go ahead as scheduled. And there's still a few choice seats available.
Here comes the commissioner.
Dr. Haley, report to your office, please.
How about a statement, Commissioner?
We've just begun our investigation. Nothing yet.
What about the new piece Buzz is premiering at the concert? Blues for Sally Ann's dedicated to Mrs. McMillan, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but it's not relevant to this case.
Miss McMillan, how well do you know Buzz Sims? We've never met. Oh, come on, Mrs. McMillan.
Mrs. McMillan has made her statement. You may use it.
Dr. Allen.
Any further statements will come from my office in the
Just
morning.
make sure you find Buzz's attacker before the concert, Commissioner.
You're a new face.
Joe Layton.
Oh. Well, the police are working on several leads now, but none for publication.
What leads?
You're not listening, Ken. I said none for publication. And no more statements tonight.
I'm not kidding, Commissioner. Buzz Sims is a multi-million-dollar talent. We expect your best men on this case.
This may come as a surprise to you, Mr. Layton, but you don't have to have $1 million talent to get our best men. We use them on every case.
Maybe you better excuse us, baby. I think the commissioner wants to ask me a few questions.
Well, that's Sally M. Then I keep forgetting. It is a blues.
I hope you'll excuse the Baroness, but then I suppose you're as puzzled at my naming a composition after you as she is.
Well, I don't think I was exactly what she expected. I hope you're not disappointed.
No, not at all. I'm delighted.
What can you tell us about tonight? Any idea who attacked you?
Well, I didn't see anybody, but then I was working. And when I'm working, I'm always alone, no matter who's there.
Not even a glimpse?
No?
Mr. Sims, you have a picture of my wife on your piano.
Yeah?
Would you mind telling me how it got there?
Sure, it came through the mail. Right after my new composition was announced. I assumed you sent it.
No.
Well, that's strange, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Do you know anybody who'd want to kill you?
No?
Ever received a threatening letter?
Quite a few. But then they were all from girls who threatened to kill themselves if I wouldn't marry them.
Then you have no enemies.
I'm not certain I haven't got any enemies, Commissioner, but then I'm not sure I have any friends either.
You know him?
No, but I know who he is. That's Manny Sky. Used to be Buzz's drummer. Why would he be coming to see him?
Why wouldn't he?
Buzz fired him.
You know why?
Nobody does. Manny was a terrific drummer, and supposedly they were really close friends, but Buzz fired him.
And his girlfriend, the Baroness, from Milwaukee? What have you read about her?
Well, she's sort of an over-the-hill groupie who jumps from celebrity to celebrity. She met the Baron while she was in Europe the summer after high school, but she dumped him 6 months later.
And I suppose you know how she met Buzz?
Mm-hmm. On a balcony overlooking a ski slope in Innsbruck during his last concert tour.
It's nice to know that all those hours you spent reading magazines aren't wasted.
Well, if you want the news one... The newspaper office. That's where it came from. It had to be.
What?
That picture on Buzz's piano, it's got to be the one I gave Dorothy Clark. She loaned it to me again last year when I was chairman of the Arts Bowl. The newspaper needed a picture so quickly. They never returned it. That's got to be where it came from. I remember I was worried about it because it was signed affectionately Sally M. But the editor said it was all right. He said he could crop out the signature. I'm going to call the newspaper right now. Hello? This is Sally M. Who is this?
Who is this? What kind of a voice?
Well, it was a man's voice, I think. I'm not sure. It was muffled. He said to tell you that if you didn't get out of Buzz Sims' life, that he'd see to it that Blues for Sally M becomes a reality.
you, my dear. You're usually so prompt. I was afraid something might have happened to you. You know, I do feel guilty about your driving all this distance.
I enjoy the drive. Wow, is that bright? Let me fix it.
Well, thank you, thank you. Light blindness can be painful. Oh, you'll find a little present on that table.
Mr. Warlock, you've got to stop doing that.
Nonsense. Well, go on, open it.
It's my favorite cologne. But it's too expensive, and you shouldn't have done it.
And you're kind enough to drive all the way down here just to read to me? No, it's just a small token of my very, very deep appreciation.
I enjoy reading to you. I read for several other people, you know that, and I don't expect to be paid. Now, you've got to promise me that you're not going to do it again.
Well, I see you're just as lovely as ever this morning. I'm glad there was no reason to worry about you.
Not me. Did you hear about Buzz Sims?
Yes, it was on the radio this morning.
You know, my husband and I were just arriving at his apartment for dinner when it happened.
Did you see the attacker?
Oh, no. Nobody has the slightest idea who did it, least of all Buzz Sims.
Well, perhaps it was a music lover.
Mr. Warlock, that's unkind.
Forgive me, my dear. I didn't realize he was such a friend of yours. There was nothing personal intended. I've never met the man.
No, neither had I until last night. You know, his scrapbook was open to a page of your reviews. I remember how we laughed at the clever way that you phrased them. But they didn't seem so clever last night.
Ah, but we did have fun laughing together, didn't we?
Well, they were witty and literate. They were very cruel.
Not cruel. Objective. Now, I've no doubt that Buzz Sims is a very nice man.
Buzz Sims has talent, Mr. Warlock. I'm not a critic, but I know that much.
I thought we were talking about music, young lady. I didn't say your friend didn't have talent. He's quite talented. But he betrayed that talent. Ah. Let's not talk about Buzz Sims. Why don't you go over there and read me my review of last night's Leonard Bernstein concert? I ravaged him. Absolutely ravaged him.
When we got here, the door was unlocked, and the room looked exactly like this.
Well, we checked this place out to make sure that robbery wasn't the motive. The tape recorder and the piano are the only two things of value. They're both still here, especially the piano.
What about money?
He says he doesn't keep any. Says that he gets $50 a week from his manager and credit cards.
That's what I do with Sally, except it hasn't quite worked out.
That's Mrs. McMillan's compact, isn't it, sir?
Yes, Sergeant. We heard voices from the bedroom and a cry for help. This door was locked, so I had to break it in. The tape recorder was playing and the windows open, so whoever it was must have escaped from the balcony.
Police, hold it right there.
Look out!
the police.
That's right. You Manny Sky?
Yeah.
Give me the tape.
What's on it?
Buzz's latest. Blues for Sally Ann.
What else?
Nothing, man. Just music.
Then why steal it?
I wasn't stealing. I was just borrowing.
You make a habit of breaking into other people's apartments to borrow things?
I didn't realize you'd be there to open the front door for me.
Well, why didn't you stop when I said police?
Because I didn't believe it. I thought you were the bums who attacked Buzz.
Any idea who they were?
The world's full of crazy people.
What about you, Sky? Why did Buzz fire you?
That is something that you'd have to ask Buzz. But if you think I'd kill him because of it, you're just as crazy as the rest of the world.
We better ask you some more questions. Downtown.
How come?
Because we want some answers.
Last evening, I had the misfortune of attending the rock concert at Carmel. You know, in Naples, a total failure. Where Mr. Buzz
Listen to it.
otherwise, enthusiastic audience.
I am listening. It's nice. Buzz has written himself a piece of music.
Under the music. Listen to the voice.
Voice? What voice? I'm grooving with the music.
Well, groove with the voice. Whose is it?
You any voices, Sergeant?
Of course I do. Isn't that why you took the tape? Isn't that the real reason you wanted it?
The reason I wanted it was to hear the new drummer solo. They've told me that the new guy's good, but hearing is bleeding.
You know whose voice it is. You're protecting somebody.
Commissioner, I don't hear voices. Too bad about you and the sergeant here.
Officer, get him out of here. And Manny, don't leave town.
Oh, wow. I wish I could stay and hear the drummer solo. Maybe you'll call me back later, huh?
I don't think we're going to get too far with him.
I don't think we're going to get that far.
You know, Commissioner, maybe you should,
Maybe I should what?
ask Mrs. McMillan to listen to that tape. No offense, sir, but I am a police officer trained to follow leads in their logical order. That's all.
What logical order?
Number one, Buzz Sims names a composition for Mrs. McMillan. Number two, her photograph with her signature on it is found in his apartment. Number three, he sends roses and then invites the two of you to dinner. And number four, her compact was found there.
And what did your police training tell you?
That there just might possibly be some connection between Buzz Sims and Mrs. McMillan.
Sergeant Enright, my wife happens to be the most honest person I know. When she says she's not withholding information, she's not. As for the photograph, I had it checked out this morning. It was on file at a newspaper office. A man telephoned asking for it, and they gave it to him. As for the compact, I'll check with my wife.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Oh, thank you. Yes. Mm-hmm. Thank you. That was DMV, sir. That RD1 license plate belongs to an Arthur Drake of Mill Valley. Guess I'd better find out what his story is, huh?
I don't know how it got there. I didn't even know it was lost.
Well, if you remembered where you lost it, it might help.
Well, I've lost a lot of other compacts, Mac. What makes this one so important? The fact that it was found in a man's apartment?
Oh, I know it was a plant, but if I knew where you lost it, I might have an idea who planted it.
Sure, that's what you're saying, but that's not what you think. You actually believe that I lost this compact in Buzz's apartment and that I knew him.
When are you going to start believing I believe you?
When you start believing me. I suppose you think I made up that whole story about the picture. That I really did give Buzz a picture that was signed affectionately Sally M. and that I lied to you about.
I checked on the photograph this morning. A man called identifying himself as Buzz, asking for the picture, and they mailed it to him.
You checked on it. You checked on me, Mac.
Well, you started to do it yourself last night.
But it's one thing for me to check on me. It's another thing for you to check on me.
I wasn't checking on you. I was checking on a photograph.
But it was a photograph of me. How could you?
Well, it was very simple. All you have to do is pick up the telephone and start dialing.
You checked on me because you were worried. And you were worried because you thought I might be in some kind of jeopardy. I also forgot that this was the compact that you gave me for our anniversary last year. It was kind of dumb. Forgive me?
Forgiven?
Oh, no, not so easy. Make me suffer.
Suffer.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead, suffer. Come on, baby, go, go, go.
Oh, I feel terrible.
Feel better?
Yeah, much. Whatever happened to that engraved money clip that I gave you the same year?
This?
I never would have forgiven you if you lost it. And the year before that pen and pencil set?
These?
And the lighter?
I stopped smoking.
You mean you're telling me you no longer have that beautiful lighter?
I no longer smoke.
You lost it.
No, I
You lost
just
it.
don't remember where I put it.
You
Okay,
lost
I
it.
lost
Aha.
it. Aha.
Got any idea where you might have lost it?
No.
Exactly. It's upstairs in the bureau drawer in the back behind your handkerchiefs.
It used to be. Isn't there anymore.
You mean you really lost it?
Is this 4200 Laurel? Mr. Arthur Drake?
Yes.
Police. May I come in?
Sure. What's the trouble? Oh, excuse the way I look. I don't usually walk around like this. But then I'm not usually at home at this time of the day either. You see, I was visiting a client out this way and spilled some coffee on my trousers. My wife's in the kitchen cleaning them right now. What can I do for you?
Mr. Drake, you were observed leaving 604 North Lombard last night at about 8 o'clock. Would you mind telling me what you were doing there?
Well, police, sweetheart.
Yeah? What's he done, officer?
I haven't done anything, sweetheart. He's just asking a few routine questions.
Oh? I'd like to ask a few questions about your routine myself.
I was just inquiring as to his whereabouts yesterday at 8 p.m.
I like you, officer. We think alike. I asked that question when he got home at 8:30.
Your car was seen leaving the address at exactly 8:05 p.m.
It wasn't 604 North Lombard by any chance, was it, officer? That's where she lives.
She?
Louise Montgomery by name. Maybe with you here, we can get the truth out of him. Have you been seeing that cheap Tootsie again? Oh, no wonder you look so wrinkled all the time. I'm grounding you, Buster. No more pants for a week.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, at least give me my car keys. I gotta get to work.
Take a taxi.
Correct, Commissioner. Angle is not right at all.
Come here. Sims had to be facing the one who stabbed him. And he had to see who it was.
Then he lied to us. He must be protecting someone.
Well, if he lied about this, what else is he lying about?
Well, obviously, Mrs. McMillan. I mean, about all the evidence that indicated that he knew her.
You better check out Hardy One's alibi.
Yes, sir. I'm on my way. Commissioner, I hope I didn't offend you about Mrs. McMillan.
Not at all. In fact, you were right about her.
I was?
She is involved in this case. She just doesn't know how or why. What I can't figure out is the reason why. I mean, what could anybody hope to gain by involving Sally?
Well, I could have sworn that was where I bought it.
Why don't you ask the commissioner where you bought it? He's so big with the questions.
I can't ask him. I want to surprise him. And I'm not going to stop until I find it. He really loved that lighter.
Yeah? You don't think he was trying to tell you something when he lost it, do you?
He lost it because he quit smoking.
Oh. Well, then how come... Oh, never mind.
Anyway, I'm not buying it so much for the gift, but more for the sentiment.
Oh, I see. You're buying him another one so you keep reminding him he lost it. Clever girl. Keep him feeling guilty.
Mildred, I hope you don't mind my saying this, but you give the worst marriage advice I'd ever heard.
I think I mind your saying it.
How about some ice cream, my treat?
Okay, Mrs. McMillan, but it's my turn to buy.
Okay.
You know, on second thought, I think I like your treat better.
Don't you love that view? That's one of Buzz's tunes.
Oh, yeah?
Isn't that the cutest little monkey?
Yeah.
Hi there. Here you go. Here's another one. Take the nickel. Come on. She's under. She's help me. Somebody do something. Help me. Somebody get a rope. Get a rope, somebody. Please. Help. The current's got her. It's taking her.
Let me through the rope.
That won't reach her. It's not long enough. Please get another one.
Hey, there's someone over there in the water.
Help.
Hurry up, Don. Looks like she's in trouble.
What's that over there, a shark?
Lady, that's a boy.
Oh, looks grown up to me. Help me. That boat's gonna hit her.
That boat's gonna save her. Here, grab this life preserver.
I can't reach it.
All right, hold on. I'll get you another one.
Oh, she's got it. Keep your head high, Mrs. McMillan. High!
Here, give me your hand. Easy does it, lady. Well, take it easy, lady.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a million. They were a lot of help.
I hate to mention it, Mrs. McMillan, but you lost a shoe, right?
I think we'll go back and look for it later.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Oh. What happened, honey? Testing the water?
Yes, I'm here every day at 10 and 4.
Listen, shouldn't I find a phone? I mean, call the commissioner or something?
We'll call when we get home.
Buzz. Thanks. Okay, fellas, let's take it from the top again, huh?
First, a couple of questions.
Oh. Can't they wait, Commissioner? I've got a concert tomorrow night. A lot of lost time to make up.
2 questions, Buzz, that's all.
Take 5, guys. Okay. What can't wait?
The tape you were playing last night, Buzz, what was on it before you recorded Blues for Sally M?
I don't remember. Didn't erase properly. Have to have that head fixed.
Whose voice is that?
I don't recognize it, but whoever it is, it can't be very important. Otherwise, I wouldn't have recorded over it. Why?
Manny Sky broke into your apartment this morning and tried to steal it. Why would he want it?
I haven't the faintest idea. What'd he say?
He wouldn't say anything. Do you think he could have been the one who attacked you?
Manny? Oh, Manny's a friend of mine. We've been friends for years.
Friendship didn't keep you from firing him. Why did you fire him? I thought Manny Sky was the best.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid was is right, but I can't go into that. What goes on in this group stays here.
Where'd you get this?
I've never seen it before.
It was found in your desk drawer.
Some chick probably left it there during a party. Why does it matter?
Because it belongs to my wife.
Oh, man. I can see where your head's at. Hey, Commissioner, you gotta believe this. There's nothing between me and your wife.
All I want is some hot tea. That's all I want.
I'm gonna lace it a little. You need it. You'll love it.
Of course I still see Manny. Just because Buzz fired him doesn't make him my enemy. I've got plenty of my own. But Manny's not one of them. And neither is Buzz.
Why did Buzz fire him?
You know, Commissioner, if I were as bad at my job as you are at yours, I'd be out of business. What have you got? 2 suspects, Manny and me? Has it come to that, Commish?
I asked you why Buzz fired Manny.
Who knows with artists? Didn't you ever hear about temperament? Maybe one day Buzz decided he didn't like the way Manny brushed his hair or combed his teeth. Plenty of reason there for one artist to fire another. But no reason to kill, Commish. I'd offer you one, but I'm sure you don't drink on duty. Me? I always drink on duty. How else could I put up with him?
I take it you don't have too much respect for artists.
Did you ever know a babysitter who had respect for the babies? But it pays well.
And bugs you.
Only when it rains. Because I know, you see, that he'd be nothing without me.
I wonder if the Baroness agrees.
That dame should have stayed in Milwaukee and led the kind of life she was meant to lead. Beer and babies.
What bugs you there? Buzz has her and you don't?
Nobody has the Baroness. She likes names, as long as they are names. And right now, Buzz is.
And you're not.
Listen, nobody ever knows the names of the people who make the stars. There are a million kids with enough talent to make it, if they're lucky enough to connect with a Joe Layton.
I get the impression that you don't like anybody.
Commissioner, you're perceptive. Perceptive enough, I hope, to also realize that I didn't stab him.
But you did get a kick out of it. I'll bet you even enjoy Peter Warlock's reviews.
It's always nice to know that being one of the beautiful people doesn't keep you from getting hurt.
And you're quite a beauty yourself, you know that? And if you're worried about what to do with that body after you're gone, don't forget the hard fun.
Yes? It's for you.
What?
Commissioner, we just had a call. Your wife's had an accident.
At first, I thought that falling off the pier might have been an accident.
She was pushed, Commissioner, if not by the monkey, by the monkey's friend.
Then when we came home and we saw all this, I knew there had to be some kind of a connection.
Where were you during all this, Mildred?
I was shopping with your wife. Lucky, huh?
Mac, what am I going to do about clothes now?
What about mine?
She can't wear your clothes.
Were they shredded too?
No, just mine.
Lucky, huh?
Mac, you wouldn't be making light of this if it weren't more serious than I thought.
I live for the day, Charlie, when you'll know what I've been through.
Monica, what are you talking
The
about?
cells, the bars, the disgrace, especially the disgrace. I want you to know the hell I've lived through.
Monica!
No, don't. Please, don't kill me. Please, don't kill me.
She's dead!
Stay out, everybody. Sally, call a doctor.
Dr. Thursby!
Stay back, please. Stay back. Get me an ambulance. Hurry.
What happened?
Somebody shot her.
This gun's been fired. One shot.
I didn't fire it, Commissioner. Doesn't anybody believe me?
I want that room thoroughly investigated. Policemen on guard around the clock. No one will go in and out of that room unless I know about it. I want the guest list, the name of the caterer, photographer, and florist, and anybody else involved in that reception, no matter how remote.
Commissioner, I didn't shoot her.
I know you didn't, Charlie.
You do? How?
You just told me.
Oh. Is that all you have to go on?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not much, is it, sir?
You're her husband?
Her ex-husband, yes.
We did everything we could.
I'm sorry, Sergeant.
You send the necessary papers to my office, Doctor.
Sure.
Well, I guess we'd better go down to headquarters and book me.
Sergeant Mack would never have you arrested.
Well, I'm afraid he has no choice, Mrs. McMillan.
He's right, Sally.
I was afraid he was.
I see Monica Fontaine, please.
I'm sorry, sir. She died a few minutes ago.
I bet this is the first time a cop ever turned in a report on himself. Well, there it is, sir, from start to finish.
Sure that's everything?
Yes, sir, that's exactly the way it happened.
Something's got to be missing.
It's all there, sir. I had invited Monica to La Palette for drinks that evening. You and Mrs. McMillan were going to meet me there.
I wonder what she's like.
What makes you think we're meeting a she?
Drinks at La Poulette? Come on, Mac. That's a little steep for Sergeant Enright unless he's trying to impress somebody. He did say he invited us.
Oh, yes, he was very clear on that point. But he has reason to celebrate tonight. How often do you get named Cop of the Year?
Probably not more than once a year.
Well, you haven't changed at all, Charlie. And that's as depressing a statement as I ever hope to make.
Well, I'm sorry if I disappoint you, Monica. You look very good.
If I do, it's no thanks to you. I'm held together by a thread, Charlie. A thread. These last 15 years have been quite a trip.
quite a trip. But as rough as it's been, I'd take it over life with you again, sweetheart.
The Enright party. Yes. They are very much here, Commissioner.
Thanks, Alonzo.
You see, I was right. She is a she.
Look at that face. Not one real thought in it. Will you stop grinning at me, Charlie?
I'm not grinning, Monica. That's the way my mouth is.
I had forgotten how much I always hated it, and every other part of you.
Hello, Sergeant. Congratulations. We're so pleased. Nobody deserves an award more than you do.
Thank you. Commissioner, Mrs. McMillan, this is Monica Fontaine.
Commissioner of Police? Well, what is this, a cop convention? You know I always hated cops, Charlie. I can't imagine why anyone would want to give an award to one.
I suppose you're wondering who Monica is.
Oh, no, we'd forgotten all about her.
Wish I could. Guess I never will. I even kept hoping that she'd come with us to the ceremony tonight.
You know, Sergeant, she doesn't seem quite right for you. How did you happen to meet her?
She's my wife.
Your wife?
My ex-wife, yeah.
I didn't know you were married, Charlie.
Well, I've been divorced a lot longer than I was married. Monica left me 15 years ago. I saw her today again for the first time. You know, it's funny. When she phoned me this morning, I thought it was to congratulate me on my award. But of course, she never even knew about it.
She live here?
No, Los Angeles. She came up here for the wedding of her niece. Our niece. I'm sorry I had to put you two through all this.
Don't apologize, Sergeant. I'm just glad you didn't have to go through it alone. You might not have made it to the ceremony in time.
Hey, that's right. The cameras are waiting.
Oh, no. I'd forgotten about all those cameras. I'd almost rather face Monica again.
You must be a very happy man tonight, Sergeant.
Oh, yeah, we're real happy.
Oh, well, how about letting us see some of it?
Oh, we are. I'm grinning right now, actually.
Oh, really?
That's my grin.
Poor Sergeant Enright. He's still in love with his wife. It's right there on his face, isn't it?
I'd say it never makes you say that, but I'm sure you're going to tell me anyway.
Well, why else would he want to see her again? Then she had to go and ruin his big moment. She didn't even congratulate him.
You know, it's a shame you're so happily married. You are, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the makings of a great ex-wife.
Well, that's something you'll never know for sure.
Good night, everybody. Okay, come on, let's go this way. All right, fellas, come on, let's get a few shots over here. Excuse me, honey, we'll just step right back. Come on, you get over there. All right, get around here. Now, when you shake hands with them, go ahead. Shake hands, the two of you. That's it. All right, fellas, go ahead.
I really don't mind working this weekend, sir, if there's something I can do for you.
I thought your niece's wedding was tomorrow.
Yes, sir, it is. But I only have to put in an appearance.
I take it you're not looking forward to the festivities.
Well, I was looking forward to it, sir. I'm very fond of my niece. It's just that I'm afraid that a wedding will bring out the worst in Monica.
That wasn't the worst we saw last night?
Oh, no, sir. Monica was just getting started last night. You see, sir, Monica believes that our marriage is to blame for everything that's gone wrong in her life. She thinks I'm the one that stood in the way of her career.
From what I saw last night, I can't imagine anyone standing in her way.
Well, I did refuse to move to Hollywood, sir. We were both very young. She thought all you had to do was to move there to become a star.
So she went without you?
Mm-hmm. But I thought that once she found out what it was like, she'd come right back.
But how can she blame you for her failure? You didn't stop her from going, did you?
Well, she said that if I had believed in her talent, I would have gone with her. Well, if her own husband didn't believe in her, how could she be expected to convince strangers?
Well, she's gotten you to swallow that argument. She's a pretty good actress. Look, why don't you just go down to the wedding and get it over with? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't I drop by the reception, have some assignment for you, and get you off the hook?
Well, I couldn't ask you to do that, sir.
No, you couldn't. That's why I offered. Well, I think we better find the cop of the year. Bigger office.
Charlie, I'm so glad you could come. I don't think I really would have felt married if you hadn't been here.
Well, you have all it takes to make it legal right here.
Oh, and we're so proud of your award. Except in my book, Uncle Charlie, you're cop of the century.
Well, I'd like to borrow that book when you finish reading it.
We'll see you later. Okay, you look beautiful. I guess he's had enough. We better get him out of there.
He hasn't been in there 20 minutes yet. You know, he's probably enjoying himself just because you don't like wedding receptions.
Sally, there isn't a man in there who's enjoying himself. Come on.
Well, after all these years, there must be Captain Enright or Major or whatever it is they call cops.
No, it's just Sergeant, Mr. Fontaine.
Just Sergeant? Wow. I always said you'd never amount to much, Charlie, didn't I, huh?
Yes, you always did.
Say, have you seen Monica since she's been back in town?
We had a drink together.
You drinking now, Charlie?
No. Not really.
There's just been no improvement in you at all, has there been?
No, sir, I guess there hasn't been.
Sergeant.
Commissioner, Mrs. McMillan. What a nice surprise to see you here.
I'm afraid I have some bad news, Sergeant. I'm going to have to pull you away from here. That is, if your friends will excuse you.
Oh, I don't know anyone here who'd miss him at all.
Mr. Fontaine, I'd like you to meet Commissioner and Mrs. McMillan. This is my former father-in-law.
Let's just say I'm Monica's father, huh? Let it go at that.
Yes, I think that's enough to say. We met your daughter yesterday.
And she certainly does take after you.
Well, I guess we better be going. I'm sure what work there is. Can't wait.
Oh, excuse me. I'm terribly sorry.
No, it's my fault. I walked right into...
Of course it was your fault, Charlie. And before you go knocking down any more professional men, let me introduce you to this one. This is Dr. Thursby. He came with Monica. And this doctor is Monica's first mistake, Sergeant Charles Enright. His friends are Commissioner and Mrs. McMillan.
Nice wedding.
Yes, it is.
Well, they're not guests here, you know. They're just collecting funds for the policeman's ball.
It's nice to meet you, Doctor.
Sure is. Oh, look it.
What's that? Oh, thank you, Mrs. McMillan. If I walk around with a feather on my lapel, people will think I'm a vet.
Well, I know you hate to leave, Sergeant, but we really must go.
Leaving so soon, Charlie?
Hello, Monica. Yes, we were just going.
Oh, you can't go yet. I've been looking for you all over. Let's go someplace we can talk. You will excuse us for a moment, won't you?
I hope this won't take too long, Monica. I can't keep the commissioner waiting.
It's just like old times. Nothing matters but your work.
Let's have a drink.
Good idea. Do you remember the day we got married?
Of course I do.
This room reminds me of our marriage. Drab, barren, lifeless, unused.
I was the one who wanted children, Monica.
Children? Ha! You're interested in nothing but being a cop.
Let's not go into all that again, please, Monica.
Why? Because you have to go? Well, it's always been you, Charlie, hasn't it? Everything's always been more important to you than I. Well, go. Go on, leave. Leave me, just like you did last time.
You're the one who went, Monica.
I left because I had a career waiting for me, all the world waiting. Only without you, you know what they did to me. They didn't want my talent. Without you to protect me, they turned me into a tramp, Charlie. And when they were finished with me, they locked me up in a mental hospital for 3 years. 3 years!
I'm sorry, Monica. I didn't know.
Aunt Monica, Uncle Charlie, please open the door.
Every day. Every day when I was there, I thought about you, Charlie. I thought you'd come. I thought you'd get me, Charlie. You were too busy playing policeman. Cop of the year. Big shot cop of the year. A guy like you can be destroyed, too. You are not that safe.
Monica, you need a doctor.
I've seen doctors. Doctors can't help me. I have to help myself. How would you like to be alone, abandoned, have everyone point an accusing finger at you? I live for the day, Charlie, when you'll know what I've been through.
Monica, what are you talking about?
The cells, the bars, the disgrace, especially the disgrace. I want you to know the hell I've lived all these years.
Monica!
God, no, don't. Please, don't kill me. Please, don't kill me. Oh!
She's dead.
Stay on, everybody. Sally, call a doctor.
Dr. Thursby.
Stay back, please. Stay back. Get me an ambulance. Hurry.
What happened?
She... Somebody shot her.
This gun's been fired. One shot.
I didn't fire it, Commissioner.
I was wrong about you, Charlie. I just didn't believe you had it in you.
I didn't shoot her. Doesn't anybody believe me?
All right, let's go over it once more.
We've been over it and over it, Commissioner. I've told you everything.
Are you sure there isn't anything you've forgotten?
Well, if there is, I've forgotten it.
Well, it just doesn't make any sense. Nobody could have gotten in or out of that room.
Haven't you forgotten something, sir?
What's that?
You haven't booked your principal suspect.
Don't be so anxious, Charlie. I don't want your record to show you were booked for murder if we can avoid it. Let's wait until we get the ballistics report.
I appreciate that, sir, but anybody else would have been booked by now as routine procedure.
Well, if it'll make you feel any better, I'll book you.
Well, I don't mean to sound pushy, sir.
Well, let's wait for that ballistics report, okay? I can't believe that bullet was fired from your gun.
Then how do you explain the fact that my gun had just been fired? I mean, if I didn't do it.
Sergeant, whose side are you on anyway?
I am on yours, sir.
Good. When was the last time you fired your gun?
This morning at target practice. That's how I know the paraffin test will be positive.
Commissioner? Well, maybe I better come back when the commissioner's not quite so busy, or perhaps you could come to the lab, Commissioner, or maybe we could meet in a coffee shop.
Whatever you have to say, Sykes, you can say it in front of me.
Do you want me to read all that, Sykes, or do you want to tell me?
Everything's right there, Commissioner. Every question is answered right there.
Come on, say it, Sykes. Just say it.
Well, of course, we all knew the paraffin test would show positive.
Go on.
Sorry, Sergeant. The bullet that killed the deceased came from your gun.
Are you sure, Sykes?
Positive. Look for yourself. Check the gun filings, the barrel of the gun, the whirls, the swirls. We've never run a double check quite like this one. There's no mistake, none.
You do a good job, Sykes.
Yeah. I'm afraid so, Sergeant.
It still doesn't make any sense.
Well, you'll just have to book me now, Commissioner. Sergeant. I don't have anybody to call. "15 years in a cardboard box, and it all fits." Those pictures aren't mine. They were hanging there when I first came to the office. I never did like them. Thanks for posting the bond for me, sir.
That's one of the few things I can do, Sergeant. Look who's still waiting. I thought you were going home in a taxi.
Do you realize how many men have tried to pick me up while I was waiting? Right in front of the police station. You know what I needed, Sergeant, was a good cop.
You mean you've been sitting here all this time?
Yes, to give you a personal escort back to our house. I called Mildred. She's got macaroons in the oven. They're your favorite, aren't they, Sergeant?
Hey, that's a good idea. You could spend a night in the guest room and then in the morning have one of Mildred's breakfasts.
Well, that's very kind of Mildred and of you, but not tonight, thanks. I'll see you at the arraignment in the morning. Good night.
Good night, Charlie.
Good night, Sergeant.
Sergeant Charles Enright, Special Officer assigned to Police Commissioner Stuart McMillan, was booked within the hour for the murder of his former wife, Monica Fontaine. Sergeant Enright was the recipient of the city's top police honor, the Policeman of the Year award, just 2 nights.
Well, Sergeant, what luck finding you home. I was afraid I might be stuck in the neighborhood for a couple of hours by myself.
Oh? How's that, sir?
Well, I decided to try that all-night service station you're always recommending so highly. They're greasing my car.
Well, would you like me to give you a ride home?
Well, I thought I'd wait here, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. But I don't think I'm likely to be very good company tonight.
Drink up. After a couple of beers, we'll both be better company.
Well, sir, if you're going to stay here, why don't you tell that other man to go home?
What other man?
The one outside, watching me. And you might tell him he's not doing a very good job. I spotted him when I was unlocking the front door.
Sergeant, I didn't assign anybody to watch you.
You didn't?
No. And I don't see anybody either. Are you sure you did?
Well, I know surveillance when I see it. Look, Commissioner, if you didn't assign somebody, who did?
Oh. By the way, got some good news for you. Mike Bolger has decided to defend you.
Mike Bolger?
Well, at least you could say his name with a smile on your face.
Commissioner, I can't afford his kind of defense.
We can't afford anything but his kind of defense. Mike Bolger hasn't lost a case since 1946.
Well, here goes his record.
Mac, can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure.
I've been up with this case all night, and I think the only chance we've got is for him to plead guilty to involuntary manslaughter. That way, we might be able to get him off with 1.5 years. As a matter of fact, with his record, I'm sure of it.
You want him to plead guilty?
Look, Mac, at my prices, I could stretch this one out so that even I couldn't afford me. Let's get it over with and save everybody.
Well, Mike, he's innocent.
All right, sounds fine. But remember, if he's pronounced not innocent, he'll get 20 years to life.
All rise. His Honor, Judge Clement Williams presiding.
I suppose, Sergeant, you are aware of the charges against you?
Sergeant Enright is aware of the charges, Your Honor.
Very well. And how do you plead, Sergeant?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Since we're dealing with a case where a man's reputation is at stake, I'm sure everyone is most anxious for an early preliminary hearing. We'll therefore set that hearing for 1 week from tomorrow, if there are no objections.
No objections, Your Honor.
Will you set bail at this time, Your Honor?
No. The court will wait until after the preliminary hearing before entertaining any decision on bail.
May I address the court, Your Honor?
State your name and what capacity you wish to address the court.
Stuart McMillan, I am here as amicus curiae, Your Honor.
And for what purpose, Commissioner?
Your Honor, Detective Sergeant Charles Enright has served as special officer attached to the police commissioner for as long as I've held the post. I can attest to his outstanding character. His record will verify him to be one of the best men in our entire department. Prior to this incident, he was without blemish. In view of these facts, I'm asking the court to reconsider its position in refusing to set bail at this time.
I appreciate your interest, Commissioner. However, I remain reluctant to set bail because this is not only a capital case, but one which has already received an unusual amount of publicity.
Your Honor, let me assure the court that I will personally assume full responsibility for Charles Enright.
Are you prepared to post bond at this time?
I am. I have a bail bondsman with me.
Very well. Set bail at $100,000.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I know what you're doing, Commissioner. You're going after a whitewash. But it's not going to get you anywhere. I know how you cops stick together. You hired Bolger, you posted bond, and you'll do everything you can to get your friend off. But it won't work, Commissioner, because I won't accept anything but justice.
Neither will I. So what's your interest in the case?
My name's Alex Fontaine. I'm Monica's brother.
Well, I appreciate your desire for justice, Mr. Fontaine, so I'll forget what you just said, because it sounds an awful lot like a threat.
Don't forget it, Mr. Commissioner. Think about it a lot. Because if the law doesn't get Charlie Enright, I will. And no one, you included, is going to stop me.
Alex Fontaine is a former Green Beret, skilled marksman, and an expert in karate.
Well, he sounds like a walking weapon. Can't you arrest him for making threats like that?
Only if he puts it in writing and mails it.
Why don't you send him a self-addressed stamped envelope? You don't think he'll really try and hurt Sergeant Enright, do you?
Well, I'm worried enough to put a tail on him. And Enright.
Okay, what's the matter with the food?
Nothing.